From New York, it's the show that claims they can easily bowl a 135 because they took a bowling class in college, which also raised several questions. It's First Things First today. Dak keeps throwing pick sixes. Does he need to be more boring to keep the other team from scoring? Meanwhile,
gotta stop.
Another day, another non-guaranteed dollar. The latest on Lamar and his playoff availability, it's not good. And finally, in 1 hour, well, you're in luck. It's the most motivating segment in all of sports television. Alongside Nick Wright, I'm Kevin Wildes. Broussard, any surprises on the Bud list?
No, but I just have a lot of motivation to dish out.
Oh, great. Good.
I'm dishing out large pieces of inspiration, guys. So get ready.
Like pizza? Like there's slices?
Pieces, whatever you want to call it. It'll be good.
I always thought it because we were playing around like
we were pouring.
Yeah, we were pouring motivation.
That's fine. Cups, whatever.
Cups.
Got it on tap.
Brady's future. Monday night, Brady will be in Tampa Bay. After that, who knows? New report says that the GOAT going to Miami is, quote, definitely on the table.
Wow.
We know there was some interest last year. Does this make sense to you now, Nick?
Absolutely.
No.
100%. It made sense before the season. It did not make sense at the midway point of the season. And now it makes sense once again. It didn't make sense at the midway point of the season because it was like, well, they're just obviously going to stick with Tua. Even though guys such as myself still had some question marks about him, he's so much younger and seemingly had so much more upside, and he's under contract. All of it's like, okay, Tua, Mike McDaniel might be coach of the year, and Tua's going to be their quarterback of the future.
He's an MVP, right?
But dark horse MVP. No doubt.
Tyree, more than Tyree.
And so, but now, if I were to, let's start here. Next year, who are you more confident will play all 17 games? Tom Brady at 46 years old or Tua Tagovailoa? I feel almost badly talking about that, but if you're the Dolphins, you have to do that math there. Also, I still think Mike McDaniel is a super sharp coach, but they wanted Sean Payton before, and Brady wanted Sean Payton. And if you guys don't think it's on the board that if the Miami Dolphins get rolled this weekend and Stephen Ross, who tried to make this happen to the loss of a draft pick and other stuff this offseason, wouldn't consider calling up Sean Payton and seeing if he and Tom Brady want to do what they tried to do a year ago, of course that's on the board. And Brady in this offense, with those weapons, with the added motivation, no Bud list, there yet, but of being able to do it in the AFC East against Bill Belichick, against the Patriots, and not having to move that far, whatever his family situation is. Right now, they've worked out to where he can go from Florida to wherever, and still be in Florida, still be on the East Coast. For all those reasons, whether they keep Mike McDaniel or whether they try to make it a package deal, I think 1 year of Tom Brady in Miami makes a lot of sense.
It makes all the sense in the world. All right, and the one place I disagree with you, Nick, is on McDaniel. I'm sticking with Mike McDaniel.
What if Brady says you got it? What if Brady says it's both of us or neither of us?
That's tough. That's tough. But McDaniel is a good coach. I think he's shown that.
I totally agree.
Right? And I think he deserves to keep this job. But I do think they need to bring in Brady. And you said it too. And look, I don't cut Tua.
Oh, of course not.
Okay, I keep Tua, let him learn at the feet of the GOAT for a year. And, I don't think that matters in terms of concussions that you didn't play for a year. But, hopefully he can get healthy, and come. If Brady's 1 year, it's a one-year deal. You try to win the Super Bowl. And if whatever happens, if Brady leaves after 1 year, Tua's there, ready to take the reins. You're right. He gets to beat up Belichick twice a year.
No, he won't.
You don't like this.
It leaves a sour taste in my mouth for me and for Tom Brady. First, I'll talk about Tom Brady.
Okay.
Stay out of the AFC East, just practically. The Jets are going to be sneaky good next year. Woody Johnson says they're going to get somebody. Maybe let's give them Derek Carr.
Right.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Jets are sneaky good. We know Josh Allen is fantastic. They might get better after they go on a nice little playoff run.
After they win the Super Bowl.
Patriots, we're going to get a new offensive coordinator. Just from a football standpoint, AFC East is going to be packed.
Well, listen, not to interrupt, we don't even have to argue about the Patriots. Even if the Patriots stink, the AFC East is still really tough. So I agree with your general point.
Yeah, and then emotionally, I think it's just a bad move.
Why?
It feels Brett Favre to the Vikings to me. It's just not going to
If
be
he
a
wins
nice.
the Super Bowl with Miami,
Not winning a Super Bowl with Miami. You're not going to be. You're
they
not
were
going
a
to be
very good team this year.
Right. This
They
year,
still
Tom Brady should look around and say, I'm in the playoffs. I'm getting a lot of compliments. I'm also under 500. Maybe I should pick out a nice little weak division to go to. Don't stay away from Patrick Mahomes.
That's
stay
your
away
best
from Josh
argument.
Allen.
Because I do think this is other than San Francisco, if they struggle, if they somehow lose to Seattle or whatever, this is the best landing spot for him. But you're right, the division, that's a good point.
But here's where I disagree wholeheartedly about how much the division part should play a part of it. Do we all agree that if Tom Brady this year, let's say they even beat the Cowboys, and then they get rolled in round 2, that for him this year will feel like a failure?
Yes.
Under 500,
no,
of course.
Of course. So my point is, he is only in the Super Bowl business. And if you're trying to win the Super Bowl, the math should not be, where can I go to most easily win the division? Your math needs to be, what team is good enough for me to have a chance to not just win a crummy division, but to win a Super Bowl, which is why, yes, of course, San Francisco would be the best option. But I don't know. We'll see what they do in the playoffs, what Purdy does, all of that. But then the other options are of teams that need a quarterback and we think have a ton of talent are all in brutal divisions. The Jets would be an option. They're in the same division. The Dolphins, obviously, we just talked about. The Raiders, some people have speculated. That's a brutal division. You have Mahomes and Herbert. So the idea of, stay in the AFC South and go to Carolina, yeah, you can win that division.
Why
but
not
you
just
can't
stay with the Bucks?
Because he was trying to leave the Bucks last year.
They're not that good.
And they're not that. I think he
Okay,
needs
good.
more
You guys,
talent.
well, then good. You should pick them to lose, just like I am.
No. Yeah, all right.
Twisting you guys
We'll see how
up
that
there.
one goes.
Well, one team's scoring, one team's boring. I know that much. Turn our attention on the field. Dak Prescott.
You know what? I like it now. I like it now.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
All right?
I has gone through the exact same evolution of my feelings about you.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning, like, what is this even about? And now I just love you.
Yeah. And then it turns.
Yeah, eventually.
Dak keeps throwing the ball the wrong team. Jerry Jones rejects the idea that Dak is turnover prone. Take a listen.
It's in Dak's DNA not to turn the ball over. His famous story that I often repeat is that he said more often than not when his mother saw him in the kitchen, she'd say, "Remember, no turnovers." He understands turnover better than all of us put together.
Was that a turnover food joke?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't get it. Dak's interception in his NFL career, Brew, used to be pretty good, not great this year. So, are you expecting a clean game from Dak in Tampa Bay Monday night?
All right, first of all, let me address Jerry Jones.
Oh, man.
This is what I mean by foolishness. And I'm not even talking about the corny joke about being in the kitchen.
He's
I'm not even talking about that, though. It's in Dak's DNA not to turn the ball over? Really?
Well, it used to be.
Then why did he lead the league in interceptions despite missing 5 games?
Needs a blood transfusion.
All right, and 2 of his years he's had double-figure interceptions. I get it. He hasn't been, throwing the ball all over the yard.
This used to be his strength, bro.
But hold on. This was the question. Turnovers. All right, that includes fumbles.
Oh.
Dak has led the league in fumbles twice in his career.
That's good.
See, I dig. I don't just go on the superficial level. I dig. And Jerry should. He led the league in interceptions this year. He's led the league in fumbles twice.